Bum bum bum, welcome back. Today we're gonna be reacting to I Investigated the Country Where Slavery is Still Legal by Tyler Oliveira. Which, by the way, I feel like he's putting videos like every week. There's no way he has enough time, right? Like 31-minute videos every. Okay, whatever. By the way, I thought slavery was legal in a lot of third world countries. Just after all, like when you're in a third world country, what you want to do is basically just, gain power, have people work under you for basically no money. No, I guess that's technically no. Oh yeah, I understand. So there's two s slavery terms, if I'm not wrong. There's modern slavery, and then the classic slavery from back then. Yeah, my mouth's dry. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's get into it.
Of America, where slavery is
It's a
still
bit loud.
legal under the 13th Amendment if you've been convicted of
Wait,
America.
what?
This is the United States of America, where slavery
Wait, oh, it's America. Wait, I thought it was like some other country. Okay.
is still legal under the 13th Amendment if you've been convicted of a crime.
You can be legally enslaved. If it looks like slavery, it smells like slavery, it sounds like slavery, it's slavery.
Turns out, when Abraham Lincoln abolished slavery by ratifying the 13th Amendment
He
in
missed the country?
1865, they left in one little exception: convicted criminals.
To be fair, could that be considered? I guess this is what would fall under modern slavery. Because back then, what they did, like like here, they still probably treat them a bit as humans. Back then, they just pull their teeth out and like make them into necklaces. They'd like fuck their wives in front of them. Like, eh, in terms of like, uh, okay, what am I doing? Am I gonna say this is good? No, it's not. It obviously is not good.
Like everyone's slave, not just black people, everyone now.
And
Yeah.
refusal to work can be met with harsh punishments like
Well,
solitary
that's another thing. When people think of slavery, they think of black people, but I could be wrong about this. A lot of the slaves, well, the majority was black people, but the next one, like number two, I think it was Japanese, Chinese, because they came in during the industrialization in droves, and then we're just being paid cheap, just doing cheap labor. Uh, fuck my throat. I think I'm getting sick. Just being in crowded apartments, shit like that.
confinement, loss of privileges like visitation, phone calls, commissary access, recreation time, family visits, good time credits, and access to books, hygiene products, and snacks. And the prisoners that do make small amounts of money can have up to 80% of their earnings deducted for various prison-related expenses before
Sure.
they see any of it, while 7 states pay them nothing. So who benefits off of their labor? And does America have
I mean, the government should. Wait,
states pay them nothing? So who
wait, why would McDonald's? Wait, what? There's no way. Like, okay, so McDonald's uses the inmates to produce food, but McDonald's pays the government to be able to do that, so the government comes on top, right?
benefits off of their labor? And does America have financial upside in locking more and more Americans in prison to maintain a steady supply of state-owned slaves? More importantly, did slavery ever end in America, or did it just rebrand itself to something more socially acceptable?
Slavery, on how like open it was and how like cruel it did end, but it's like, oh, you're working for minimum wage. Like, people consider that slavery. Is it really slavery? Not really. Technically, in this prisons, you do have a sentence, right? So after the sentence is done, you're pretty much good. That would be more like indentured servitude, not really slavery, right? Am I wrong in this? It's indentured. Fuck my throat. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much indentured servitude, not really slavery, like in the concept. Sorry.
some may not know is almost half of those men and women fighting fires are convicted felons.
And this, clear.
But it's not money. These
Okay, now that's fucked because unless they're trained as firemen, you're pretty much sending people to their deaths to be burnt alive. Just saying.
inmates are working for. It's their future freedom.
Before I speak up with ex-prisoners who are locked up in Texas, work in the deadly hot fields.
No, wait. I really okay. Okay, you're putting a white officer on a horse next to like black people with like holes, which is probably not a plantation. Okay, like this is this does look like a bit like a racism or slavery. Fuck, I lost my thought process.
For their master
Oh yeah, if they're being forced into doing this, yes, you can consider that slavery, but if they're choosing to do this to lower their sentence, I don't think it is. Because it is their own, like they're lowering their sentence by doing this work. If that's the case, it's something they chose to do. And by the way, I won't talk about that.
Uncle Sam, I went to one of the most incarcerated cities in America to see if they knew that slavery is still legal in America.
Did you know it's still legal to enslave someone if they commit a crime in the United States of America?
But there's no way
It's
he
still
he heard
legal
slavery
in
and
America.
stuff.
Did you know it's still legal to enslave someone if they commit a crime in the United States
Hey, did you know it's legal to own slaves? Huh?
of America?
You know what? I think we're all slaves.
Did you know about that exception?
Wow, I know that. Yes, I do know that.
Did not know that.
The way the government is going, yeah, I would believe it, yeah.
Does that come as a surprise?
Yes.
Yeah, that surprised me a bit. Doesn't surprise me at all.
No, I'm not surprised.
That is disturbing.
Isn't that crazy?
At all.
Huh? Wait, she's drinking. This is not Red Bull. This is no, this is Red Bull, right? Or is Red Bull? I don't drink energy drinks, but she's drinking it through a straw.
No, I'm not surprised.
Dude, there's no way. I've never seen that. I feel like that just sucked, no?
That is disturbing.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy, right? No one really thinks about it.
That's weird.
You support slavery?
No comment, buddy.
Fair. Have a great day.
Here in 2025, you shouldn't be enslaved.
I would probably answer the same thing. To be fair, it's like, huh? What? No comment. Yeah, there's a camera on me and there's like a mic on my face. Yeah, no comment. I have no idea what you're talking about. You just leave me alone.
Some bullshit.
Hell no.
Hell no.
No.
No. Shouldn't even be a thought in mind, ever.
I'm not saying they should, but it will happen, and if it do,
Actually, yeah, I guess. I mean, if he actually stopped me fully, I would probably answer no. But if it's just like he's just walking with me, I probably would say just leave me alone. Or no question, like he said. Yeah, I don't know. It depends.
and people don't fight back, that's on them. Do you think
Because it's true, the question itself is pretty simple. Then again, because it's so simple, it's like, is this a trick? Is he gonna ask me some weird shit to vote in some to like do a poll to like put my name in some voting sheet or whatever for some weird shit?
Slavery ever ended
I'd
in
probably just ignore
America?
it,
No,
honestly.
it's just transformed. It's never changed. It's always been that way.
If you knew the process of how indentured servitude went and then
Oh, there it
how it
is.
formed slavery, you'd understand that this is what's going on now. Just not just black people anymore. So like everyone's slave, not just black people, not just people of color. It's everyone now, and everyone's starting to feel it.
I think that law should be ratified. It should be changed.
Is it? I mean, when you come out of prison, you have a hard time getting a job, right? Could you, in theory, use these like this work as like credentials? Like, yeah, oh, I can build shit. You know, I can I guess not. You probably can't. Because yeah, you did do like work, but it was in jail. Then again, I guess you also get money for this, right? Then again, they take like 80%, right? So even when you come out of jail, you probably are gonna have like $100 at most, realistically. And so yeah. Because I'm thinking, well, if they're getting money for their work or their sentence is being lowered for it, stuff like that, then it's not really bad in those terms, since they're gonna come out better or faster. Then again, I guess. it's a bit of a slippery slope, I guess.
now, and everyone's
So I wouldn't want, like, I guess another problem is like committing crimes because you know you're gonna get a lowered sentence, or you can lower your sentence by doing this shit. So like the severity of the crime isn't whatever.
starting to feel it.
I think that law should be ratified. It should be changed for sure.
You know, it shouldn't be legal to enslave somebody if they commit a crime.
Is there any crime that would warrant whiplashing in the fields, like plantation style?
No.
No, absolutely not.
No matter the crime?
No matter.
Even like a child rapist?
Well, no. Even a shot, you just put him down. Shoot him in the back of the head. By the way, fuck. I'm demonetized. I'm like banned from YouTube. That was a joke in GTA. He did say, like, wait, just let's.
No, absolutely not.
No matter the crime?
No matter.
Even like
Yeah, no, fuck him. I don't know why, you know, like, can I say the initials? Maybe that's gonna not like fuck my channel. What this? Fuck him. Same with the school shooters, fuck him. If you are in your right mind and you decide to ruin other people's life and future, you shouldn't have a future. Honestly, put it on neurochips, or you know, what's Elon Musk's brain chip or whatever they're like trying to test. Make them be testers. Fuck them.
a child rapist?
Well.
I know it's a slippery
no
site,
one.
but fuck them.
Murder?
No one.
This is getting way heavy.
Murder?
Yeah, I mean, those guys, I don't know.
Maybe fuck them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Even if you're a heinous criminal who commits a terrible crime.
No, but I don't support the whipping, because there's really no point in whipping them. If you whip them, they're just gonna be hurt and do less work. You're also gonna need supplies to help them and shit like that. It's like, it's not worth it. But yeah, let me just say it. I'm not joking. Child and the other word, he said, I don't want my channel to be fucked. Use them for human experimentations. School shooters, use them as well. Fuck those guys. People who hurt or ruin other people's future are the worst.
No, there is no slaves. Shouldn't be any slaves.
I mean, I think all crimes are different levels. I mean,
I'm talking about deliberate ruining someone else's future. Like if you're, let's say you're driving and then you suddenly pass out for whatever reason, and then crash into someone else's and like hit someone and break their legs or some shit. That wasn't a purpose. That wasn't like, it wasn't planned. I guess that's what I'm saying.
getting dealt with in there by other inmates. Justice happened on its own. Whipping and like that. We're going back 100 years.
That's weird, yeah. Whipping is weird.
Crime and the time should match.
No forced labor?
No.
In the
It's also because whipping, it's just hateful. Like, there's no positive to whipping. It's just hate. Like, you're relieving stress.
severity of their crime should
someone
matter
else.
and how much time they get. Like I said, our legal system is jacked up. People are getting more time than they deserve for small things that are like as much
And
as
then
a
big things are like not getting shit.
Where I draw the line is that if there's corporations making money on it, like not employing actual people and just using the inmates, then I see a problem.
And then they can't keep the job once they get released from prison due to the felony status oftentimes.
Yeah, it's not good.
I feel like the federal prison system is just like recycling black men specifically. Due to like the laws that are being passed, it's hard to make change. The oligarchy that holds the power is making it harder
Wait, what laws? Wait, what laws are being passed?
for us to reach the change.
We realize the 13th and 14th Amendment created two citizenships within the United States. Freed the slaves, that's one citizenship. You're born a United States citizen. You're not under the rule of the United States government that exists today. It is a corporation.
And we're employees to this corporation or what?
You are slavery to that corporation.
Gray,
That's why
yellow?
they have an income.
I mean, isn't every citizen a slave to their country if that's the case? Because you have to listen to the government. I mean, not country, government.
Tax. You're a slave under that.
Let's make sure that we're not putting ourselves in position to become slaves. But when you have predators out there, it's not a choice. The gazelle doesn't choose to get eaten by the lion.
You locked up, They're gonna flee the shit out you.
Do you know anyone who's gotten a felony?
One of my best friends, but he trying to shake back, you know, and I'm supporting him for that.
Okay.
Not
Hopefully he
immediate
gets good.
family, but I know somebody who has people who got like long sentences for very, very minimal things.
How has that affected their life?
Forever.
Forever?
Forever.
Dude, it's so crazy. Like, you can get such a long sentence just for doing, like, small shit, like stealing or whatever. My brain just, like, went poof.
Jail, that's a wrap.
After talking
I
to
don't know
the
what's going
people
on
of
today.
New
I'm, like,
Orleans,
super
I
sick.
headed over to Gatesville, Texas, home to 5 out of the 9 women's prisons and jails in Texas, to meet up with Marcy Simmons, who spent 10 years working the fields out here after stealing $300,000 from her employer. As I was getting B-roll of one
Wait, how many years?
jails in Texas, to meet up with Marcy Simmons, who spent 10 years
10 years, 100,000?
working the fields out here after stealing $300,000
300,000 from her employer. Yeah, that's a bad crime, obviously. 10 years. Yeah, I don't see what's. I guess maybe 10 is too long. Maybe it should be like 5.
from her employer. As I was getting B-roll of one of these women's prisons
don't know.
before the interview, a perfect example
yeah,
of
she
the
should be in jail.
overcriminalization of Americans unfolded before my very eyes.
No, sir, this is private property. You're on state property right now.
This is
No, sir, you
state
are on
property?
private property of the state of Texas.
Man, they try to get a rise out of you.
No,
we just need to get.
we're genuine confusion.
As I filmed the outside of a prison funded by the tax dollars of Americans in a public parking
And
lot,
corporations.
filming that which was in plain view, I quickly learned as to how little we really
Because if the inmates are working for like corporations, then the corporations are also funding the prisons and the the system keeping this.
know about what goes on inside the prison walls.
So we're trying to get some B-roll on the outside of the prison. Are we within our legal First Amendment rights to film on the outside of the prison?
State property is part of public property.
No. The public property is over there behind that stop sign.
State property is still part of public property as long as it's publicly accessible land.
Yes, man. Can you 25 me at Valley? I have 2 guys that are refusing to leave.
That's not what's happening.
Well, we're not refusing to. We're trying to get some clarity on the actual line itself.
We're not gonna argue.
This is constitutionally protected ability to film on the
Yeah, this
exterior
is
of the
weird.
prison,
Y'all
right?
have the right to, to record and all that.
Yeah.
But not on state property, on the other side of that stop sign.
That's unconstitutional.
State property is
Okay,
still public land.
what
Yeah.
business do y'all have on this state property right now?
First Amendment, expression, journalism.
Do y'all have an appointment?
No, we don't have an appointment, but we're not trying to come on the inside of the premises. We're on the outside, no?
'Cause y'all too close to the gate. I got inmates here. We don't know who y'all are.
I mean, if there's inmates like outside, I guess you could like say maybe support this guy because he probably thinks they're gonna do some weird shit, like pass something to the inmates. But I doubt they have the inmates like outside. I guess they can pass like money and shit through the fence, through like the holes in the fence or up the fence. I guess, but the way he's going about this just makes it look weird, like he's hiding something. Like he doesn't want them to like record something
We're not
there.
trying to get a rise out of anyone.
Oh yeah, they have inmates outside, right? Okay, yeah, then yeah, okay, it makes sense.
prefer if you're out of the shop.
No.
Because I don't want them to interfere with
Well,
them.
once again,
Show them the privacy, man. Show them respect, man.
What?
You don't know
What are you
what
talking-
they've been through.
That's not-
or what's going on.
You don't know what they've been, dude. What have they been through? It's your prison, like, what? If you don't want them to going through like shit, then don't make them go through shit. It's the prison that's making.
Not the point.
That's my whole thing.
You're misunderstanding the whole point. We're trying to get some B-roll on the outside of the prison. Officer Cruz here, I guess, is setting the example for the lack of transparency and the ability for any journalists to
Dude,
gain access and understand.
Like I said, it's in my head. Show them some privacy. You don't know what they've been through. What have they been through? Like, is he saying they've been through like humiliating, like depressing, like fucked up experiences? Because where have they been going through this? In jail? In the jail he's like security for? Guarding?
Understand what's even happening inside here. Yes.
You cannot be on the premises filming. You don't have authorization. So I'm going to...
This is public property, no?
Sir, I'm going to have to ask y'all to leave. You can't be
Why aren't they
here
answering?
filming, okay?
So what we're trying to understand is if you're just making this up or if we're actually in violation of some Texas Penal
I'm
Code.
not going to answer your rules.
I mean, if you
Questions?
don't tell them what law they're breaking. I mean, she is like a security official or whatever, right? So you kind of do have to tell them, don't you? Like, am I wrong about this? Oh, they're not legally. Well, I'm using the AI review, right? I mean, that's whatever. I guess they don't. I don't really care enough.
I mean, your questions,
Usually
I'm just
they
telling
do
you
that.
y'all need to leave, okay?
Stop.
I would suggest you don't touch my property.
I'm not touching you, man. You don't have authorization to be recorded.
Is that McDonald's food?
We have seats in the prison truck or they're being shipped like cattle. Hello. How y'all doing? Hey, we're trying to get some B-roll of the facility here. From our understanding, this is state property and it's constitutionally protected.
You are in violation. And if they ask you to leave, you need to leave. I need your license and your driver's license.
Okay, yes, sir.
As far as secure area, it would be a question of publicly accessible.
I need your driver's license and I need it now, please. This is a penitentiary that houses very violent criminals. We have killers, rapists, murderers. We have everything in here.
Sure.
And they have family members in the world that will come out here and play the same card.
Yeah.
And when we have people here, we don't know who you are.
I see. Okay.
So why would you come here to mess with these people?
We're not here to mess
Wait,
with.
but they're filming. They're not trying to go inside. Like, what? What? That doesn't even make
But
sense.
that's exactly what's happening. Disrupting their operations.
So we are in violation of Texas Penal Code? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm asking you to do is leave.
So are we violating Texas
So
Penal
what I
Code?
want you to do is get in your car.
He's not answering.
All I'm asking is, are we in violation of Texas Penal
One
Code?
more time for you to get in your car and leave.
I'm confused. We saw the prisoners, a bunch of convicted felons in a van being shipped in and out of the prison. You just experienced the wrath of a small Texas town. Big hat, no cattle, quite literally. Zero transparency.
Yeah,
the
this is
sheriff
super
of
weird.
the town himself showed up within 5 minutes and big dogged us. But we have 5 cop cars coming, bruh.
The same people that are elected to protect the Constitution and to uphold the Constitution and serve the public are utilizing that against you.
My guess is they're not supposed to be shuttling prisoners in and out of that freely without chains and all that. It was a publicly accessible parking lot. There's no gates. There's no signs. Just drive up there 50 feet away. I bet you a lot of things can go missing or a lot of abuses can go unnoticed out here in these
yeah.
small towns. After nearly getting arrested myself for filming these prison walls.
I mean, they obviously have like a power fantasy type shit, right? What? Why did I say type shit? I've never said that before. What? Anyways, they obviously have a power fantasy, so like chances are there's a not zero chance that they are using their power for like
to understand
fucked
what
up shit.
really goes on inside of them. Let me introduce you to someone who lived there. I'm here with Marcy, formerly incarcerated for how many years?
I was locked up for 10 years here in Gatesville for a theft charge.
I also want you to meet George.
I went to prison 3 different times, and I was an addict, and I didn't have the money. And I would target fast food joints, and I would wait till they closed, and then I would throw down on whoever was taking the trash out, and I'd walk them back inside, and more often than not, they had the safe open, and they would give me the money, and I'd leave. Yes, I did 27 total.
Dude,
I was an addict. I got out the army
that's
at, like
fucked.
right at 19.
Like you're putting, dude. I never understand people who like. So you're going to like minimum wage workers, and you're putting a gun to them, and like threatening them to. It's fucked.
In South Texas at a dance to go see a girlfriend. I leave the dance, I've been drinking. I get pulled over, so I get a little mouthy with the cops. He didn't like it, he took me to a jail. He puts me in a tank of men who'd been convicted and were awaiting transfer to prison. And I found out later he told them to take care of him. I was beaten, I was raped pretty well all night. Kicked out the next morning and said go home.
So you're beaten and raped?
Oh yeah, totally, yeah.
And where are we right now?
We are in one of the fields, and I think that there's actually, this was potatoes here that I used to work at. I worked out here in the fields just about my entire incarceration.
10 years straight, how many hours a day did you work and how much were you paid per hour?
Probably all day.
In Texas,
for like 2
incarcerated
cents.
folks are paid $0 an hour.
And are you forced to
Wait, didn't he say at the beginning of the video that they were being paid, but like 90% was taken away?
work in the fields?
I guess 90% was taken away, and then like the 10% that's left, you have to use it to get food from the prison and like shit like that, right?
Yeah, you absolutely
yeah,
have to work. I'm not really against people working, but I'm against people doing kind of needless work. Yeah, day one you get here and they assign you a job, and the next morning you get up and go to work. So day two in Big Girl Prison, right here on the Dr. Lane Murray unit, I was out in the fields. And so what that looks like is you're strip searched before going to work. They'll say like 3 hoe, because side note, it's called the hoe squad. Yeah, the hoe.
In the dirt, or you're a hoe?
Well, I'm sure they mean hoe in the dirt, but of course it was used derogatory, like hoes line up, hoes get over here. It was really degrading.
So it's dehumanizing from the get-go.
For sure, 100%. You hike to a field, and you've got officers on horseback. They're armed. They're shouting directives at you. Day two in prison, you don't know what the hell's going on.
Well,
you're scared.
Another thing with like doing this kind of like plantation work is that, like, as far as I know, like farming isn't even really like that popular of a job anymore, right? So before you do this, because then these people could like, I mean, you do it because it makes money. You could sell the food and shit like that. It's like it was still corruption, but at least the people that got out, they could still work in like plantations and like farms and shit like that. But now you're doing this, but you're not getting any like real work experience you can use in like the real world. So it is basically a waste of time.
It's really nerve-wracking. You get out here, and if it's August, it's 105 degrees out here in Texas, and it's not air-conditioned in the dorm, and so you're already weak. And if you've been in county jail and the air conditioning, you're really weak because of the heat. And you're out here doing field labor, which is really similar to plantation work. Any old plantation movie that you might have seen, that's what this kind of work looked like.
People used to cut their tendons so as to not go out to work in the fields. I got taken from a nice AC job working in the hospital to the fields because I would not falsify documentation backing up their allegations.
They're beating up some dude, right?
Yeah, and they'll do that all the time for much minor stuff. I was put in the fields for a lot of stuff. I got put in the fields because
by cutting their tendons, is he like saying they paralyzed themselves? But why? Because they didn't want to. I don't know. I feel like the punishment reward is like a downside, no? Like the reward you get for that punishment, or like cutting your tendons, it's not worth at all. Because yes, you don't have to work in the field, but you can't do shit by yourself anymore, unless it's like just a small cut.
Mouthed off the guard one time because I stepped on the yellow line in the hallway. So they went ahead and put me back in the fields.
So do you guys have any rights as a prisoner?
If a cop rolls up right now and tells you to get down on the ground, I mean, what rights do you have? You do it to get shot.
And this is Bianca Tylek, a Harvard.
Well, I mean, yeah. Also, like, I've never been in prison. My uncle was, because he was drinking and driving shit like constantly. But what I'm guessing, why did I say that about my whatever? But I'm guessing it's probably a group there, like a group of friends that develop in the prison between sorry about this. My brain just isn't working today. I don't know why. Basically, the guards form a friendship and like a group. So even if someone fucks up and or acts aggressive, the others probably don't say anything because they're like friendly and they don't want to like be outcast.
Educated leading expert in the prison industry and founder of the nonprofit Worth Rises, working to dismantle the prison industry and the exploitation of those it touches. But real quick, have you ever gotten in a car crash that wasn't your fault or gotten hurt at work? Your injury could be worth millions. If you become Morgan & Morgan's clients, they'll fight to get you ready to take on insurance.
I hate this like name. I don't know why. Every time I hear it, it's like constantly.
Cotton? Are they fighting fires? Are they doing crazy work?
And so, like, I'm just
Morgan
thinking about
Morgan
things that are like
Morgan
sometimes here in New York, but all over the country, we have people in all types of jobs. Farm or agriculture is a massive area of prison work. In fact, There's some really crazy reporting right now about sheriffs that are using incarcerated people on their own properties.
Yeah.
Using the people in his jail to like man his own farm.
What?
So we would work anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a day. I think they've cut that down to half days now. It was a long day, doing very manual labor, doing things like picking potatoes, picking corn, cutting grass with a hoe.
So
Yeah,
who
like
is
I'm
your
saying.
equivalent of
This is work that's not gonna benefit. Well, I guess cutting grass could benefit you. That could, I guess. But like picking potatoes and that shit, that realistically isn't gonna benefit you once you're out of jail. Unless you're like working a lawnmower business.
the
then yeah, sure.
master, the prison warden? Who did you serve?
Yeah, we served the field boss. We even called him boss. Very culturally similar to plantation days. And you had two
basically,
lead
yes.
hoes, and we would be at the front of the line, and we would be keeping things organized. We would be keeping the ladies on task, and quite frankly, sometimes even participating in degrading them.
I spent 27 years in prison. Total, I got $100, I think, because.
Wait,
Texas-
didn't they do this with slavery? Or they degraded or they had their own like people degrade them to like create rankings, and the worse you were against your kind, the better you were treated. That way they couldn't like unionize and then like revolt.
7 years, you earned $100.
They doesn't pay. Texas has maybe a few hundred people out of the 140,000 who work in Lockhart. They got a couple of private firms that do pay individuals for working. But if there's 140,000 people, there's 139,800 whatever thousand that don't get a penny.
I see.
No, I never got a penny. I worked 13 years in the fields. I worked as a library clerk in the law library. I worked as a kitchen commissary clerk. I washed pots and pans for 3 months because they got mad at me because I wrote a grievance. It was kind of effective. So they transferred me jobs from my job as a library into the kitchen. None of them did I ever get paid.
Were you obligated to work those jobs? Do you have to work in prison like you did?
If there is a job that needs to be done in Texas prisons, they will find somebody to do it, regardless of their qualifications, give you an order to do it, and if you don't do it, for whatever reason, you will get disciplined, you will lose custody in class, you will end up in solitary, and you may end up with more time. Now, having said that, of course I wanted to work. I don't want to sit around my damn ass all the damn time, but I want to do something that's fulfilling, not necessarily spiritually, right, but something that I learned something from, and I think that's most prisoners want that.
32 degrees or below, we're not working in the fields.
Anything below freezing.
Exactly. So we're at the back gate, and we can hear the officers' radios, and they do these every hour temperature checks on
I'm
the
surprised
radio.
if
And we're at the back
I'd
gate.
imagine, apart from money, another reason you have them work in the field would be to tire them out. Make them so tired that they won't think about like causing trouble later. So it is a bit weird. I'd expect them to like be working even when it's like freezing and shit like that.
Lined up cold as hell, ready to go to work. No issued thermals. I mean, just in these state issued clothes that are thin, the air's hitting our skin, and we hear on the radio that it's 31 degrees, and we started cheering. Like, we were really excited to go back in. And I remember the boss, the lieutenant, he looked over at the other boss and said, "I didn't hear anything, did you?" And they rolled that gate, and we came on out here, and we were picking cabbage. It was frozen, and it had been raining, so our boots and bottom of our legs were wet, our socks were wet. They issue these little cotton gloves in the mud. They're not going to stay on your hand. You finally just have to put the gloves down, and we're just picking cabbage, which the people around me, their lips are blue, snot's running down our faces and frozen. And I remember feeling ice on my eyelashes and thinking, they really don't give a shit about us. You brought up tampons, and so I need to...
Am I hearing a pss, pss? Is that me? Did I leave the dragons? No. I guess it's the video?
say working in the field is absolutely insane when you're on your menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
There's no restroom. They have a porta potty that they carry on a trailer, and tractor pulls it, comes around
Is he trying
once
to
every...
like brainwash me or something? What's this sound?
4 hours. Not everybody gets to use it. So I might be on a squad with 35 other women. They'll say, deuce it up, restroom break. We all line up, the trailer's there. I would remember like waving my tampon in the air because you're trying to show the boss like, I need to go. Like this is important for me to go because they're only going to pick 5 or 6.
But is the 13th Amendment that allows for the enslavement of criminals in violation of the 8th Amendment that protects Americans against cruel or unusual punishments?
Well, they probably found like a backdoor to like make it not cool or unusual, like giving them money, even though it's like 1 cent.
The 13th Amendment ended slavery, right? However, there's a clause in there that says, except for someone who's been duly convicted. If you have been convicted in the United States of America, according to the 13th Amendment, you can still be enslaved. So
a lot of people don't realize that.
Well, the reason they did that was probably because as a what they call a prisoner, you do have less rights, right? Like you can't really do whatever you want. So I'm guessing that's the reason they like left that there.
That's the silver lining of the 13th Amendment, right?
Right. A lot of people don't realize that, and it was very likely a result of backroom bargaining between
large corporations. Who has vested interests?
Okay, well, hold on. Back in the day, with Abraham Lincoln, they wanted the southern states on board, right? But what happened is now these black people who we freed. Now we're going to get them all on the street, and we're going to pass black codes, and we're going to arrest them, and we're going to put them
police them harder, and then we can reincarcerate them.
And reincarcerate them and use their labor now. But now we're not slaves. Now they're prisoners.
Bianca, 1865, does Lincoln free the slaves?
Yes and no. There were certainly millions of people that were freed
Well,
during
didn't
that.
Lincoln also like own slave? Like he was a big slave owner. Oh, gosh. Lincoln. That's wrong. Yeah, he wanted to end slavery, but he did have slaves, right? Fuck. Dude, the one time I need like a Lincoln. Nah, I'm not getting the information.
That time, but unfortunately, what
But I remember
happened
reading
at that
that he
time was
did have
also that the
slaves.
institution of slavery moved behind prison walls.
There's quite a few organizations out there that go to prison and say, hey, we'll hire some of your people and we'll pay them $1 an hour or whatever, right? And then they'll go out and sell those goods for whatever they sell them out in the free world, right?
Yeah.
And then here's the rub. Once I leave prison, Whole Foods won't employ me.
Why won't they employ you?
Because they have restrictions against people who've been incarcerated working for us.
They'll hire
yeah,
you
but
when you're in
has
prison, but you're no longer viable once you're free.
Exactly.
So the average.
Yeah, so that's the weird part. So you don't hire people who were incarcerated, but you do hire them while they're incarcerated? That's just bullshit. It's so weird.
For somebody who's incarcerated, right, is 14 cents an hour.
If anything, it's worse to hire them while they're incarcerated. Like the only reason you do it realistically is because they were cheap. They're like he said, $1 an hour, probably less, because the prison probably like taxes them or some shit, like a certain amount.
In 7
Or
states,
maybe
it's
they're being paid slightly more, but the prison keeps it.
actually nothing. Majority of states do pay something, but we're talking about pennies. People will work for 2 straight weeks and their checks will be $30,
Okay.
right? And with that, they are expected to support themselves in prison. There's a really, really big common misconception, right? That prison is a free ride. Far from it. The cost of communication, the cost of commissary, of food, of hygiene products, of medical copays. These are all things that people in prison actually pay. In prison, they've recently introduced emails, and people have to buy stamps to send an email. As if this is like a physical, piece of mail that's going like USPS, right? Like, we are talking about an email at 50 cents an email.
Is it slavery if they compensate you? And if they compensate you, is there a certain amount that qualifies it?
Oh, that's just dumb. Oh, well, technically back then it wasn't slavery because they fed the slaves, right? And, the food cost money, so they're basically paying them. No, like, if you're having someone do work which they do not want to do, and you're forcing them to do it, the compensation doesn't matter.
As I guess this is some form of employment by the state. What is slavery, in your opinion, in the context of imprisonment?
Slavery means that you are coerced daily into eating when they tell you to eat, working when they tell you to work, behaving in a way that is conducive to furthering the aims of the institution. And if you don't do those things, they can have you beaten, they can have your good time taken away, they can have you thrown in solitary.
Is there an argument that you're working to pay the cost of what the taxpayer is paying to keep you in prison after you've committed, let's say, a heinous crime? Is that a reasonable argument, or do you say hell no?
It's not unreasonable. Okay. If I'm a taxpayer and you commit a heinous crime, my first thing is, I don't want you to do it again.
Yeah.
And I want to ensure that person who you committed it on, if it was violent, heals. Or it's a system that I have. If they
healing is the best outcome. Like him not doing it again, like integrating back into society and being like a normal man is fine.
Work, then okay. But I want.
However, I also do think there's like helpless cases, like I said here, like a child rapist. I think, fuck, I said it again. I think those people, they're too far gone and they can't be helped. Same with like school shooters and like certain things you have to like you're too fucked in the head.
You to work.
I don't think you can be fixed
I want
at
you
that
treated in a way that allows you to address whatever trauma or anger, whatever you had, so that you don't hurt anybody else. When I was raped, even now, 40 years later, I have visions of doing some really ugly to these dudes. I understand punishment. I understand the need for revenge, the desire for revenge, but that's not going to help me heal.
Are American prisons designed in such a way to rehabilitate criminals? Or is it simply a system to punish offenders, traumatizing them further and increasing the likelihood of them reoffending after their release?
Real quick,
I'd be like, go on down the road, you fuck.
If you want to support our boots on the ground independent journalism that is not bought and paid for by corporate interests, along with exclusive DLC content that you...
Is this different? I think it's the same one like he puts in every video, right? So let's skip it. I support him if you want more of these videos, or like his videos, not mine. Or if you want more me reacting to his videos more, like leave a like on this video and on his too.
Up on YouTube, go subscribe at
internal assault and sexual assault common.
The threat in a female prison for sexual violence is from staff,
probably higher,
not from each other.
Yeah, because there's male staff, right? So it's like the power fantasy with like you're a male guard on a male prison's prison. It's smaller than if you were like a male cop in like a female prison.
Different dynamic there a bit.
I think 100%. We had to be wary of who was working. We had to pay attention. If we knew the officers that would creep around the shower area or come around at night, and you knew who not to get into a private
and I'm
with.
guessing there's not enough like women wanting to be like prison officers or guards. So it's not like they can just say, okay, we'll only hire a woman, because there's probably not enough. So it's like, it's a problem that's hard to fix. I guess you can add more cameras and like have like a monthly or weekly like audits to make sure they're not doing anything weird. I guess that could be, or like having inmates like interviewed every now and then to make sure like nothing weird is happening.
Not to make eye contact with the Prison Rape Elimination Act that's supposed to offer protection, I guess, for incarcerated.
Prison Rape Elimination Act. Yes. So it must be common enough to where they had to implement an act.
Common. Yeah, absolutely. Very common.
Yeah. So day one, you're fighting people multiple times. Yeah. How does it evolve? Do you get some respect eventually, or is it just fighting nonstop until you build an alliance with someone?
The violence is usually early on, and it's to see what you're going to do, whether you're weak, whether you're going to be a victim.
They're measuring you up.
If you get with a gang or with a clique or with whatever, right, then it may be a little different, because at that point, the gangs may be called out as a group to do some stuff, right? I would jump on dudes for looking at me wrong. What the you looking at?
Did you ever end up in solitary confinement?
I'm a disruptor out here, and I was a disruptor in there, and I ended up in solitary confinement lots of times. The first time I went to solitary was for hugging. There was a lady that was crying over her mail. She was sitting on the floor, and I kind of bent down and hugged the top of her shoulders, and
I mean, I don't want to be that guy. There's no proof, and it's like a one-sided story. Because I remember, like, I remember me and my brother were like fight all the time, and it's like, oh, we're just hugging. Ignore the fact that like he threw me on the ground and like I kicked him. Yeah, we're just playing around. Like,
And
I
they
don't
saw it
know.
on camera. They came and got me.
Oh, if it's on camera, then sure.
It's like the SWAT team coming in. Yeah, handcuffed me, marched me to solitary. I was there for 2 months.
2 months you're in solitary.
Actually, okay, no. Let's go back a bit. She has her arms around the woman, and the woman is crying. If I was a guard and I saw that scene, I'd probably also call security. Like, being fair. Because it does look like she's doing something to make the other woman, like, cry. From, like, a camera's perspective. Someone who wasn't there.
So that's enough time to have permanent psychological damage, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was wild in there.
But they should also, like, question the woman who was crying to see if, like, she did do something. She shouldn't be put straight into the solitary.
Do but like read graffiti on the wall, and those cells were hugely disgustingly dirty. Sometimes you would see blood.
Oh yeah, graffiti was probably made with blood or like shit. Maybe boogers too, because I don't see how. I guess you can scratch it with your finger, but then that's also like bloody.
Or even feces like on the walls.
Solitary confinement. It's very commonly referred to in the prison system by people who have.
Well, the thing with solitary confinement, if I'm not wrong, it's that it's not really made to fix you or anything. It's just made to break you. Like it's made to make you like never want to go there again. Because of how like little human contact you have, and how little like stimulation your brain has.
Done time as the whole or the box. Those terms.
But it's also like sometimes you do have to go there because like okay, you either go to solitary or we kill you if you don't do this job or like fight this guy. So it's like this could be like an acceptable method if prisons weren't so violent. I feel like.
Terms date back to antebellum slavery.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The hole was a literal hole that enslaved people were put in if they disobeyed the rules of their enslaver.
Dude, stop pausing. Wasn't there a movie about this? Would they put like people in a hole with like a not a chain, but like a like an iron thing, so the sun could come out and you could see them, but they'd just be in the hole there, in the group.
Got it.
Right? No food, darkness, heat. Similarly, the hot box was the same thing, was a box. These are the terms that then migrated into the system and many don't even know are related to antebellum slavery.
Oh yeah, it's just like tipping. I hate tipping, so let's just put it here. Not that, it's somewhat similar. Tipping was made as a way to not pay they're not really slaves, but the freed slaves less. Because, oh well, they're making a livable wage with tips, right? So why should I pay them the minimum, more than the minimum wage, or well, the minimum wage? Because if I'm not wrong, you can pay them less than minimum wage because they get tips. And now you see people like fully defending it, like what? Oh, you shouldn't eat outside if you can't tip them. Well, they shouldn't be working if they can't live without tips.
The work you guys are doing loses money, but it still happens.
Like the job shouldn't exist if you have to rely on like uncertain like money income.
Is the goal just to break your spirit and your will, and when you leave prison to feel like a piece of shit? What is the goal?
Texas is a really
Who knows?
punitive state, and I think that this idea that if we just make it as miserable as possible,
They wouldn't wanna
people
go
won't
back?
come back. But
Does it work?
Oh, it
No.
absolutely does not work, right? Because people are here because they have done something that probably, especially women, resulted of trauma, and they have to work through that and heal, or they're going to get out and still
the
not
same
know
thing.
how to handle their emotions and handle what they've been through, and still go back to their same old ways, and they end up back to prison. And our recidivism rates show that.
Do you think 10 years helped you more than 1 year or 2 years or
No.
5 years in prison would have helped you understand you did a bad thing and you need to stop doing that? Or
Well, another thing is you're in prison, and what are you in prison with? Other prisoners. So like you're not learning anything. It's like, okay, I'm in prison. All right. Okay. Now what? How do I change if the people surrounding me are also bad, if not worse than me? How am I supposed to be like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have done this. Yeah, this is fucked. No. Oh, look at that guy. That guy killed the whole family because they looked at him wrong. What? Okay, what I did wasn't that bad then. Like I just robbed someone at gunpoint. I'm not as bad as that guy. Why am I here? You see, like it doesn't really fix you. It doesn't make you like change your mind. It doesn't make you think, oh, what I did was bad. Because you're being surrounded with people who what they did was as bad as you or worse.
I think that after about 12 months inside, I really immersed myself in.
Also, it's just repetitive work. Like every day you do the same thing. Go to the field, shower, do this. Like you're not really learning anything
To the
there
prison
either.
life. After a year, any thoughts of good things were gone. So no, I think that it doesn't matter. I think that you humans are going to survive where they're at. They're going to change
You
to be
humans?
able to survive. I was the worst version of myself while I was incarcerated.
The American prison system is set up to humiliate, degrade, punish, and minimize. The American prison system is full of individuals who are, in fact, used as free labor for corporations, for companies, for the state. The Texas prison system, as an example, they have 140,000 people there. The guards turn the keys, hand out the mail, count, maybe drive the buses. Everything else is done by incarcerated individuals, right?
All right, the prisoners run the prison.
Yeah.
Again, we're sitting in the city of New York. It costs us over $500,000 a year to incarcerate one person on Rikers Island.
$500K.
Do you know what we
Nah.
can do with $500K?
Do they want you to end back up in the prison system? Do they want you to live a happy, fruitful, bountiful life
back in the
after
prison
prison?
system.
Is the goal to set you up for
Like I said, no, it's 500,000 a year for one person. But the companies probably give like 3 million plus a year to have them like working doing shit, plus bonuses to like the prison staff, not the inmate, the prison staff.
To incarcerate one person.
Also, how the fuck are you spending 1,500 per day to house one person? Like, are they counting like electricity? Because electricity isn't only for one person, it's for the whole jail cell. Water or food? The food isn't for the whole. Like, yeah. How the fuck do you even find this?
$500,000 a year.
Honestly, I'm outside and I use less than 15. Like, I use less than $100 a day. Unless I need like gas or something, or like groceries. Like, there's definitely something wrong here. There's definitely like someone taking money and saying, "Oh yeah, we used it for the prisoners."
Incarcerate one person on Rikers Island.
$500K.
Do you know what we could do with $500K?
Do they want you to end back up in the prison system? Do they want you to live a happy, fruitful, bountiful life after prison? Is the goal to set you up for success afterwards?
I think that may be the ideal. Right? I don't think that there is a huge universe of individuals who are plotting to ensure that individuals who have been incarcerated go back to their cage.
Sure.
I don't think that exists. But politicians have done a good job at demonizing anyone who gets in a cage in the first place, right? That they cannot be trusted around your kids. Most prisons you go to now, TDCJ, have maybe one psychologist.
To be fair, that's also another thing. It's like because prisons aren't actually like they don't work at changing people because of the way they are. Like it's kind of true that even after you serve your sentence, you probably haven't changed in the terms of mentally. Am I explaining myself? Like prisons aren't doing a good job changing people. Therefore, when people come out, it's like, did they actually change? Like this guy, like the girl, she stole the 300,000 from like her employer. Should I trust her with my finances? Like she was in prison, but did she change? Did she really? Because a lot of people who were in prison, they commit crime again. So like, and then again, it's a what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did they commit crime because prison doesn't help, or did they commit crime because they wouldn't be hired because they were in prison?
Just
It's
if
like
that. They don't
it's
have
super
psychology.
complicated.
None. If you've been in an environment where you've been
Realistically, I think the best thing you can do is just redo the whole process, like demolish it all down, and then start over.
degraded and dehumanized for 10, 12, 14 years, and you get out there, you're expected just to walk on society, you feel useless, you feel worthless. You got 20, 25, 30% of the people who are in jails and prisons have severe mental health issues. It's not helped by being in jail. Which means that I don't believe that putting someone in a cage, a literal cage, where they're subject to rape, to kill each other, without access to meaningful health, with incredibly deficient way to meet your whatever nutritional needs, all that. In other words, deprivation. I don't think that helps.
Torture.
All that. I don't think none of that helps. If what you want to do is subject them to the most violent brutality you want, then say it. And don't say that what you want is people to be chained and rehabilitated.
I see.
Me, as someone who put a pistol to somebody's head.
How do you appeal to someone who maybe doesn't even care about these people, but wants a better system, better functioning society? How would you redesign the prison system?
Well, I'm not sure I would redesign the prison system.
Okay.
I think this system that we have.
Well, you just have to demolish it and build a new one. Because the current one, I think it's too convoluted. It's too complex. It's too there's too many strings tied together into like a ball. So to change it, you'd need like years on top of years on top of years. So be like, okay, so to fix this, I need to fix this. So that you can't do that. You start from the beginning. Step one, okay, so this is what we want. Okay, to do this, okay. You know what I mean? Like make a tree instead of cutting one
has
down.
no redeeming qualities. Zero. And
Zero.
I think we need to reimagine entirely
Yeah.
how we want to address harm in our communities.
What are some immediate changes you would make to the prison system?
We're suing for air conditioning, so that's a big one, is stop.
What would I do? First of all, like I said before, crimes that ruin that involve kids and planned, predators, child the R word, school shooters, all that, remove them from prison. And I'm not talking about letting them go. Human experimentation, shit like that, fuck them. I have zero conscience for them. Fuck those guys. Next, everyone else who stays, I guess if you deliberately go to a house and murder them on purpose, you plan to murder them, you're also part there. So basically, if you if you planned and I guess if you plan and do anything that hurts a lot of people or kids, get out of jail. Just, hey, your body for science. You took away from humanity, so give it back some way. Fuck them. The rest of the people, instead of putting them in prisons or concentration camps, shit like that, have them reintegrate into society with governmental help, governmental jobs. Not prison, but jobs from the government. Don't make corporations or fuck, how do I explain this? Instead of McDonald's, have GovDonald's. You know what I mean? Fast food places that the government runs, which, employ inmates and shit like that. And they have to work there and they're supervised. Ankle monitors, shit like that, until a certain time. I feel like that will be better. Because then they're still working in society. They're still communicating with people that are normal and getting a fuck what's the word? They're getting their mind could change more than this. Well, but they're still being monitored to make sure they don't recommit the crime. They're not setting drugs behind the scenes, shit like that.
Cooking people alive. People are dying every summer. Texas
Basically have the government create fast food, like factory shit like that, that they own, not like corporations, but that the government owns, and have them work there for a good pay, not like $1 an hour, shit like that, like a good pay. But that's only all they can do. They don't have like they're basically restricted citizens, I guess you could say. Like they're still citizens. They're still like out. They're not in prison. But they can't do whatever they want. Like you can give them like maybe Saturdays. You can give them like 2 or 3 hours of free time, like outside. But the moment that ends, boom, you're back. You need to be in your house, sleeping or doing whatever. And the next day, you're back to working. You know, shit like that. Where you're still integrated in society, but not fully. So you can't like go back. You know what I mean? It's complicated. Like, dude, I wish I was like like Asmongold, Destiny, like these guys who like they can go deep into what they're thinking.
A&M did a report that showed some cells at 140
Basically, they can
degrees
speak their
in the
mind.
summer, and I've
Like,
seen people
clearly.
die from the heat, and I've seen officers fall out from the heat. So that's probably like the immediate thing.
They need to live a dignified life where inequity is crushed,
Sure.
where people feel fulfilled, purpose-driven, and loved, feel connected to the communities and the land that they're on, and that then together in a connected world, we can cure, I'm less likely to cause you harm because
Sure.
I have everything I need and because I'm connected to you as a person. But should I ever cause you harm, that we have the tools between us and in a system to address that harm in a way that doesn't cause or reproduce more harm. Because this system is not producing safety. If incarceration produced safety, then the US should be the safest place on the planet. To me, it's like all these root causes, right? And one
Well, when it comes to incarceration, was it Guatemala? The one with the biggest prisons that were sending like the illegal immigrants or whatever to. Or not illegal immigrants, but fuck, whatever. The big prison that's like the biggest prison in the world. Like their crime rate did go down severely.
of them is addressing the exception in the 13th Amendment.
At what point do you stop getting second chances?
I don't think any human, I don't care what you do, deserves to
right.
be enslaved. I don't care what you did.
So you are anti-slavery regardless of the worst crimes possible you can commit.
Yes, but I also want to say some of these people who, because of decisions they made at a very high level, way distance from the tens of thousands of people who may get killed or poisoned, right, because of some of the stuff that they do, don't get charged with it. I would say that's more heinous than someone who gets out and kills maybe a group of 5.
Yeah, poisoning the food, poisoning the water, destroying the environment.
None of them ever went to jail. None of them ever went to prison. Should they have? In my view, no. I don't think anybody should be in prison.
No one should be sent to prison. No one.
I'm an abolitionist. No.
What should they do?
I'm not saying I don't believe in some sort of separation for some folks. A lot of time it takes resources, and it takes time, and it takes a willingness to fail. And
Sure.
I understand that given an infinite supply and an infinite, maybe a watch, maybe sort of regulation on the movement, I don't know. So I have to come down on the side of some sort of separation that is not punitive in nature. You need to find a way to allow individuals who are leaving prison to have kind of a ceremony of return and say, you have, quote unquote, paid your debt to society. Go on
Okay.
there, sign
Like,
up, and
a
say
bit
that
right.
you do not believe that we should enslave anybody.
I think what he's saying is similar to what
You
I
can hit
said.
me up on my link tree. It's www.marcy.
Okay. I heard Linktree on that. Wait, OnlyFans?
Marie.com.
First thing is obviously follow us on all the social platforms. Worth Rises on the different platforms, as well as End the Exception on Instagram.
I'm using this
You can
at the
also
end.
visit us on our website at worthrises.org to set up on the newsletter or to donate. And if you want to send a message to your Congress member to end the exception in the
This is the. He's probably
Wanna
gonna say
but full
support.
disclosure, I do endorse the enslavement and murder of certain heinous criminals. I do not
Okay, yeah.
believe that every criminal can.
Okay, so he's like me. Yeah. Child rapists, the school shooters, those guys, fuck them. Yeah, it's human experimentation. Fuck them. Have them get back to society, to humanity. Yeah, I know it's a slippery side. Fuck them. I'll put the video link for this video in the description. As always, good. But I wanted to talk about the thumbnail. Can I open image? Like I was expecting it for him to like go to like a small village where people were like super racist or something. But no, it slaves must be on a leash. Like this thumbnail completely like it has nothing to do with the video basically. Anyways, I hope you guys liked it. It's a bit of a long video. Sorry about that. I do have like a lot of thoughts about this when it comes to like stuff like this. So you know, it is what it is. I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, remember, in the link is gonna be his video. If you want to go there and check it out, give a like, subscribe. Peace.